Hi everyone, this afternoon on the marketplace, an international monetary fund mission expected in town this week to track the progress of Ghana's program. Also ahead, cedi depreciation slows down as local currency is expected to record mixed performance this week. Plus, Attorney General reviewing draft operations and maintenance contract between Tema Oil Refinery and a private investor to commence process of revamping the refinery.
To bring in a strategic private partner to help to revive in terms of investment.
My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Thanks for staying with us. First up, an international monetary fund mission is expected in town this week to track the progress of Ghana's program. This will also afford the team an opportunity to see whether the government is on course to meet the June ending target to aid fresh disbursement. There's more in the following report.
This is not a review of Ghana's program, but interestingly, it is coming a few weeks after Ghana secured the 3-year program with the IMF. Staff want to use this visit to find out how the country is progressing on those structural and quantitative reforms that Ghana is expected to implement under this program. For some, this visit is very important because when the IMF staff carry out their first program review in September this year, or even November, they will use the end of June indicators to make a judgment on whether Ghana has passed its first review for the second tranche of funds to be disbursed to the country. There will also be some consultations with government on whether it is struggling to meet some of the conditions. The mission visit will also afford the IMF team an opportunity to embark on another round of engagement with Organised Labour and the Finance Committee of Parliament on Ghana's program, to ensure that it gets more stakeholder buy-in. The IMF staff will go to the board in November this year with its report on Ghana's program review. If it should pass that test, the board will go ahead and approve the second tranche of $600 million to be disbursed to government.
Meantime, economist and professor of finance at the University of Ghana, Professor Bokpin, says measures by the International Monetary Fund will negatively impact the business environment. He suggests the government cuts down wasteful expenditure and tackle corruption as the state loses millions of cedis to illegal mining activities. Lab FM's Mona Lisa Frimpong has more.
Professor Bokpin was speaking at the second edition of the Access Bank and Graphic Business SME Fair in the Ashanti region. The fair themed running sustainable businesses in a challenging economic environment landscape brought together businesses who were taken through a mini clinic session and exhibited products to attract customers. According to The Economist, business owners are worried about the unfriendly business climate in the country.
And in Ghana, we talk about enabling environment, but we have not even costed it. We don't know what it is. If inflation comes down to 18%, is that an enabling environment? If interest rate is 20%, above 20%, is that an enabling environment? That is not. How do we bring inflation to below 8%? How do we bring interest rate to below 8%? I hope you understand that. And extend maturity profile of lending. Go to Côte d'Ivoire and see inflation is less than 6%. Interest rate is less than 10%. These are just our neighbors. I hope you understand that.
Some business owners raised concerns about the competition of made-in-Ghana products and similar products from foreign companies on the Ghanaian market. Regional Manager of the Association of Ghana Industries, Thompson Atibila, wants policies and deliberate initiatives to encourage the use of made-in-Ghana products to strengthen SMEs.
And we are competing globally. As one of the presenters mentioned, we need deliberate policies to create millionaires and international businesses. We have to start from home. If we are able to even furnish only our local assemblies, their offices, with made in Ghana products or items, you can imagine the level of market we can create for the SMEs. We know some of our sister countries have closed their borders just to strengthen their local businesses so they can also export. What are we also doing? It seems our market is too open.
Professor Godfred Bokpin observed businesses are losing the tendency to employ.
Government itself is not going to create jobs. It's the private sector, it's the businesses. So if you see that businesses are complaining, all is not well in the country. If you see that businesses can't expand, they can't employ, you should know the country is heading dangerously. You understand? And if we say US is doing well, it's because their businesses are doing well. Their citizens are getting employment. That is what we call a country is doing well. A country is not doing well if it's only politicians who are making it. If it's only politicians who can build big houses and own big cars, there's a problem in that country. What it means is that everybody will abandon business and join politics. And in Ghana, everybody wants to join politics. Because within 4 years, you get your V8, S Gracia, you are okay, right? That's why everybody believes in politics.
For Joy Business, Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
Now, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has assured investors of Ghana's commitment to build a resilient economy that will offer maximum returns on their investments. According to Dr. Bawumia, the country is on a path of solid growth through the implementation of stringent fiscal and monetary policies which will restore macroeconomic stability. He said a successful International Monetary Fund bailout will solidify the country's gains in ensuring sound economic growth as well as enhance the investment environment. He has been speaking at the ongoing Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit in London.
The government of Ghana remains unwaveringly committed and unswerving in employing resilient and dynamic measures that are distinctive to our economic recovery to proffer benefits to investors and the people of Ghana. Major fiscal and monetary interventions the government, together with stakeholders, have enrolled includes the introduction of the Gold for Oil program to address the balance of payments crisis. This intervention has been one of the most important macroeconomic policies to deal with the rising price of fuel and its implication. This is gradually setting the country on a course of stability in the general level of pricing. To further ensure financial stability of the country, government has established a financial stability fund with the help of development partners to provide liquidity support to banks, pension funds, insurance companies, fund managers, and collective investment schemes to ensure that they are able to meet their obligations to their clients as they fall due. We are confident that these measures will contribute to restoring macroeconomic stability. These measures would not have been possible without the cooperation of our stakeholders, especially those in the financial sector and investors. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana has successfully secured a $3 billion IMF financial bailout to support our economic recovery. This aims to, among other things, restore macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, and includes a wide-ranging reforms to build resilience and lay the foundation for stronger inclusive growth.
And that was the Vice President at the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit in the UK. Now let's turn and talk about the cedi now. The Ghana cedi witnessed a slowdown in depreciation last week as the local currency lost only 1.28% on the retail market. Analysts are, however, anticipating mixed performance of the cedi this week. There's more in this report.
With the International Monetary Fund program taking shape, it is expected that demand for the local currency will ease. The cedi came under severe pressure 2 weeks ago, losing nearly 9% in value in the retail market. However, VES are seeing slowdown, keeping the year-to-date loss at a little above 12% to the American greenback. But on the interbank market, the cedi has depreciated by about 20%. The World Bank Country Director to Ghana, Pierre Laporte, last week indicated that the Bretton Woods institution would likely disburse $300 million to Ghana in September 2023 as the first tranche of about $1.1 billion budget deficit assurance under the IMF program. Thus, many market watchers and experts believe will help reduce the expected pressure on the cedi. Ghana in December last year suspended payment of external loans to help restructure its debt, a move that significantly reduced foreign outflows.
Now, the Attorney General is reviewing a draft operations and maintenance contract between the Tema Oil Refinery and a private investor to commence the process of revamping the refinery. According to Deputy Energy Minister Herbert Krapper, once the lawyers and engineers are done with the process, government is hopeful that TOR will begin refinery of crude in the country. Now, the Deputy Minister said this in an interview at the GMPC and BGP Bay Crew 2257, a site where he joined the team to celebrate 3 million man-hours without major accident at the camp.
The team, led by the Deputy Minister of Energy and the CEO of GMPC, were in the northern and Savannah regions to assess the progress of work in the prospecting of oil in the Voltarian Basin. Herbert Krapper said what TOR needs now is investment to put it in shape.
Dream that we discover oil onshore, and therefore means that we have a lot of traffic from international oil companies coming to places such as this to participate and engage in oil trading activities. Good news, and we've seen that the lessons from places such as Tema Oil Refinery tell us that modern technology is the way. When your machinery are old and your systems are not very functional, we see that there's a lot of wastage. And I think what is important is that we utilize those lessons. Currently, government is, through the Ministry of Energy, is working to bring in a strategic private partner to help to revive TOR. In terms of investment, what is needed in TOR is a matter of investment, and the Attorney General is reviewing the draft operations and maintenance contract, and once the lawyers have ticked it and the engineers, the technical people have ticked it, we hope that we can see a revived TOR.
On Zoom with us is energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Suleiman. Good afternoon to you. I know you are passionate about TOR, and so how does this news come to you that the Attorney General is reviewing a contract between TOR and a private investor?
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Daryl, and good afternoon to our cherished viewers. Yeah, indeed, that is so refreshing to hear. Just that I just hope this is not one of the sensational news that we do have, because we've had quite a lot of interesting news with respect to the refinery, but it will start with a bit of vigor and high momentum, then it will just fizzle out. And so I'm just cautioning that and urging that this shouldn't be one of the news that will vaporize into thin air, within a twinkle of an eye. But that said, it's an excellent news. It's an excellent starting point. We just stand by and watch how things will pan out. It's indeed, TOR needs a lot of investment. We have delayed, but never better late than never. Refinery is an important entity in every economic setup, especially in our tradition, where we have, we depend about almost 100% importation, and you clearly know how that impacts our local currency. So having a refinery is a need-based, policy intervention, that will cascade overall into your entire economy. And I can tell you, Daryl, on authority, that at this moment in time, TOR struggle to even take service guys to train. Nobody can do internship. I mean, internship is struggling. Internship students are not getting opportunity. Service students are not getting opportunity. And even those who get opportunity, the machines are just as idle as the human beings, which is so unfortunate. And the guys in TOR are very industrious. They just need to be given the chance to let the refinery run. So yes, that news is an excellent news. And I just hope that the president, take the bull by the horn and get this refinery back to business. And I think it will inure to the benefit of the entire economy. Daryl.
In reviewing such contracts, how do you protect the interests of the Ghanaian people so that we are not shortchanged?
Yeah, so a contract of this sort, we have the infrastructure. What is needed is just the capital investment to be able to put into it. Even in this state that TOR in, if you want the refinery to run, it can run if you are very serious. It is only the complex plan, the RFCC, which has been done for a very long time, that is a cause to worry. But I think in analyzing contract like this, I think it's not going to be a big deal. It's not like the upstream contract that is so complicated. We just need to come to an understanding whether it's going to be a tolling agreement, whatever be the case. TOR must come to life. TOR must run. The problem is if the refinery runs and begin to churn out profits, then there you can see the huge benefit that we are talking about. And I believe TOR can run and can churn out profit. So it's not a complicated contract. I don't think it's going to be that complicated. Talking about saving the interests of the people, the important thing is that the refinery should come to life. And if refinery comes to life and run efficiently, I believe it will make a lot of profit and it will create a lot of job opportunities for people. Daryl.
Meantime, and this is my last question, there's something happening on the international oil market, a flip-flop in prices. Prices surged on Monday following news that Saudi Arabia was going to cut production, and then they are falling right back. Explain to us what is happening.
Yeah, so what is happening is not something new. OPEC is just revitalizing one of their weapons. In fact, they have weaponized it since 2019, just when COVID set in, when they put in place the, 2020, early part of 2020, when they put in place the production cuts. At that time, they took about 10% of the global oil supply. That was about 9.7 million barrels of oil per stream day. And fast forward, if you look at the last 6 months, that is last quarter of last year, after the first quarter of this year, oil has been in the 80s, Daryl. And 80s has been an excellent figure for the upstream industry. If an upstream player and you have oil price at 80 and you don't make huge profit, then you are just not in business. And I think a lot of upstream players made a lot of profit. So, but what happened just before we entered into the second quarter, we had serious, bearish momentum that quickly set in that nobody had expected. And that bearish momentum dipped oil prices suddenly. And everything had to do surrounding the U.S. One was the banking crisis within the U.S. And then also, if you look at the debt ceiling within the U.S., now the debt ceiling is over. But the banking crisis and the kind of recessionary fears that are lingering has put a lot of pressure on the oil price. But most importantly, in addition to this banking crisis, the manufacturing data that is being churned out from China is still not that good. And it's still not that what we are expecting. So what is happening is that there's a lot of pressure on the oil prices. So oil cut, OPEC cut now would not make that much significant at this moment in time. What will make significant impact to prepare oil prices to the heights that they were, that is in the 80s and 90s, will be a robust or buoyancy in the Chinese economy. Other than that, and as we speak now, the Chinese economy, if you look at the manufacturing data for the last few months and even in recent weeks, it is not proving that promising. It's okay, but not proving that promising to be able to make impact. And China is a significant player when it comes to oil price, when it comes to how this commodity is sold within the international space. So yes, I don't anticipate any jump at this moment in time, Daryl. And the cascading impact on the pump also, I don't think we're going to have that rapid, increment. We are not going to have that much impact on the pump. What will impact the prices will be China consumption, not OPEC cut at this moment.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, energy strategist there. Appreciate it. Now, the Ghana Boundary Commission is optimistic a long-standing maritime disagreement between Ghana and Togo, when resolved, will help expedite usage of potential resources in the Keta Basin. Speaking at the Ministry of Information ahead of African Border Day on Wednesday, National Coordinator Major General Emmanuel Kotia said negotiations are ongoing with a positive outcome expected.
Ghana has a challenge with Togo so far as our maritime boundary is concerned. This came up since 2016. Therefore, the president of Ghana and Togo decided that Ghana and Togo should establish a technical committee, a joint technical committee, to negotiate on how to resolve the maritime dispute. These negotiations have been going on over the years. I must say that the negotiations have reached a very important level where probably we may be seeing the negotiations coming to fruition very soon. But the negotiations are still ongoing. They are the final stages, and once that is done, that would be announced to the general public. So negotiations are going on very well. It's got to the involvement of the two hero states so far as these negotiations are concerned. And then we are hoping that once this is resolved, the Keta Basin, which is very close to the boundary, to the international maritime boundary, would be open up to investors for oil and what have you, and other activities, and even the fisher folk in that area. So once that is not resolved, we know that investors are waiting to see how that can be open. So the negotiations are ongoing, and we are hoping that it will end soon so that the area will be open. 2017, it lost vis-a-vis Ghana, Togo. Yes, there are various ways by which you can resolve disputes. One way is to go for arbitration. Another way is that you can negotiate with a neighboring country. And in the ITLOS, it really gives you room for that. Now, for Ghana and Togo, it's progressing very well so far as those discussions are concerned. One cannot say that that should be the only one. It happened with Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire. So various means are available for Ghana and Togo to use to resolve that thing. But what I can say is that I think that the negotiations have been going on well, and we are hoping that it will end up well. Once it doesn't end up well, probably government will decide or what action to be taken. That is not the Ghana Boundary Commission that was decided. Take note about it. On Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, you all remember that in 2017, the International Tribunal on the Law of the Sea ruled in favor of Ghana so far as the international maritime boundary is concerned. Currently, what we are doing in Cote d'Ivoire is to proceed on the implementation of the ITLOS ruling. And we've had fruitful discussions with the National Boundary Commission of Cote d'Ivoire on how to proceed on this. The two commissions have been discussing details, and this month, the two commissions are even going to meet at the terminating point to discuss further on how to implement this. On our own, for the very first time since the ruling, the Ghana Boundary Commission, in conjunction with the Ghana Navy, has gone on a maritime inspection along the maritime boundary that was declared by the ITLOS. And I want to say that all is going on well. There have not been any violations so far as the international maritime boundary is concerned.
Now, stakeholders in the biotechnology space have reiterated calls to invest in plant biotechnology and leverage cutting-edge tools to ensure food security amidst global challenges. Speaking at the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement Alumni Homecoming and 16th Anniversary Celebration, founding director of the center, Professor Eric Dankwa, emphasized the power of technology in offering sustainable solutions for Ghana's agriculture.
The West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, an institution focused on using seed science to improve food security in Africa, held its homecoming and 16th anniversary celebration. The center's approach is to equip plant breeders with knowledge and skills to develop superior varieties of indigenous crops using both conventional and modern technologies. Here is the founding director of the center, Professor Eric Dankwa.
There is hunger everywhere. There is crisis around the world. Climate is changing. The rains don't come. The floods come at the wrong time. Crops fail. People suffer. I once said that why should two sovereign countries exercising their sovereign right to do what they want to do affect another country? It's a shame for Africa that we are hungry and we look up to Ukraine and Russia to bring us food to eat. In today's world, where the challenges are becoming too serious, the power of science and technology can offer sustainable solutions.
Demystifying myths about seed science, Eastern Africa Director of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, Dr. Lina Trapathai, reassured that thorough procedures are undertaken before a genetically engineered crop is released.
Regarding the overexpression, when you do the overexpression, you have to do a lot of testing before you have the product to release, so that you are very sure that it doesn't have any yield drag. Because here our aim is actually disease resistance. We are not increasing the yield, but we also don't want any yield drag as well. And with our experience, most of the time only because we are only overexpressing one gene or maybe few gene, we don't see the yield drag in that case.
Meanwhile, Deputy Agric Minister Yao Frimpong Addo urged other African countries to learn from Ghana, as the country is leading in the use of agric technology.
We have introduced farmers to improve seeds, expanded access to fertilizer, taught farmers scientific approaches to production, and enhanced the use of digital innovations in the delivery of agricultural extension services. So, when it comes to transforming the agriculture sector through technology, Ghana is leading the way, and we will urge the rest of Africa to learn how we are doing it and follow suit.
Country lead of Alliance for Science Ghana, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, explained that the conversation about genetically modified organisms and biotechnology has shifted from eliminating hunger to value-based communications. Hence, perception about seed science also needs to evolve.
I recall that those days the conversation around GMO was virtually a very static one. We kept on having debates in my class, for example, as a BSc Agricultural Biotechnology student, making the point that we need GMOs, otherwise then Africa would go hungry. But then today we've expanded the conversation. We're seeing a situation where there's a lot of value-based communication approaches in the general conversation when it comes to GMOs and biotech. This again is a generational shift that we find very much interesting.
The West Africa Center for Crop Improvement Alumni Homecoming and 16th Anniversary Celebration was under the theme, Harnessing Human Capital in Plant Breeding for the Future of Food Security in Africa.
All right, and that's our program this afternoon. Thanks for watching, everyone. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You can read more about the story brought you about the cedi depreciation against dollar slows down, may record mixed performance this week. Also, GRA to charge importers additional 12.5% if they fail to register for VAT. myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.